Hello, this is Sam Kennedy from VCU Technology Services. Today we're going to talk about apps for VCU. More precisely, we're going to talk about the move from Lotus Notes to apps for VCU that many faculty and staff are going through at this time. During this session, you might notice that I'm using an Apple Mac computer and that I'm using Google's Chrome browser. Also, you might notice when I click on the screen, there's a red circle emanating, and that just kind of helps you understand or notice where I'm clicking on the screen. It does not matter what type of operating system on your computer that you use. You can use Windows, Apple Mac OS, Linux. Google Apps is platform independent. It doesn't matter what browser you use. You can use Chrome, which is suggested, and we support that suggestion of Google to use it because you get really the most out of apps for VCU by using Google's Chrome because they're built by the same company. You can use Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, or other browsers. We have heard that some people with some features do run into problems on Internet Explorer, but I've also heard of plenty of people that have used Google products on Internet Explorer without any problems. So really the choice is up to you. And that's the key for apps for VCU. It's going to look the same no matter what operating system that you're using, no matter what computer you're using. And so you get used to it. It makes it easier to use. You don't have to worry about, oh, I'm at home today. I'm trying to access it, and it's going to look different. Or if you're at a conference and using a different computer, it just really doesn't matter. It is meant to be platform plural, so that you can use it wherever, whenever you want, as long as you have a computer in front of you. We have set up a site called Gone Google that helps with the migration process of moving from Lotus Notes to apps for VCU. If you happen to be on our Technology Services website, you can click here on the Gone Google link and it'll take you right to that. You can also put in the address up in the URL bar, and that is go.vcu. And well, you can see right here, I've already put it in numerous times, and that is the address go.vcu.edu Gone Google. And that takes you to the site. This is the site we have set up for getting prepared to move from Lotus Notes to apps for VCU. As you can see, down the center are the steps that one can go through to get ready for moving from Lotus Notes to apps for VCU. We also have some links on the left side of the page. Schedule is pretty much as it says. This shows you the schedule of the schools that have already gone through and departments that have already gone through the migration and those that are yet to come. You can also see security and privacy if you have some questions about how information and data is secured within Google Mail and other Google apps. This is the place to go for that. And there's a link for accessibility for those that are interested in how Google makes Google Apps for Education more accessible to everyone. So let's go back to the main Gone Google page. On the right, you will see we have a Getting Started guide. We have hard copies that are available. All you have to do is contact the VCU Help It Center. Information's here at the bottom. And if you want to go ahead and start looking at the guide, you can simply click on it and it'll come up on your screen. It's a PDF that you can download. You can print out yourself, but we do have copies that we have printed out that are available as well. At the top is some training information. We do provide classes from time to time. If you click on the training link, it will tell you about the workshops, hands-on, recorded materials that are available. And it's a good place to get more familiar with the system should you need to do so. The meat of the site is right down the middle. And the first step is to start with cleaning up Lotus Notes. There are just a few steps to go through to get your Lotus Notes account ready for moving to apps for VCU. Before I get to that, though, there is a PDF that was provided by Google, Life After Lotus Notes, which is really nice. And we're suggesting for folks to go ahead and download that this PDF and print it out. It's really nice. It only is for Gmail. It's not for Calendar and other apps, but it does help you get ready for understanding how to do things in Gmail that you used to do in Lotus Notes. If you organize messages in folders, you tag messages with labels in Gmail. So there's lots of great information on how to get ready for the move, and once you have made the move, how to do things that you used to do with Lotus Notes. So we really suggest people to go ahead and take a look at that and print it out and keep it near your desk, but make sure and recycle it when you're done. Don't generally like to tell people to print things out, but this is one that I think is really helpful and will help with that switch. Also, for those that are IMAP users, you know who you are with the Lotus Notes system. What I'm getting ready to share, it's best that you do these steps inside either the Lotus Notes client that is available on your computer, or through VCU Mail Anywhere, which is the web interface into Lotus Notes. Taking care or doing some of these steps through the IMAP connection can cause problems, not only for you but also for other users of IMAP at the university. So we really strongly encourage you to do these steps through the Lotus Notes client as well as through the VCU Mail Anywhere interface, which is web-based. Now, first of all, email and archive. It's important that you clean up your account, get rid of messages and folders that you don't need. It's spring cleaning. It's time. Why carry these things forward? If you haven't been using these email messages, if you haven't been using these folders, you've had them for years and years and years, and they've just sat there. There's no reason to keep those. So go ahead and get rid of them. Make sure that you empty your trash or deleted items folders. Junk will not migrate, so you don't have to worry about that, but trash will. So this will make it easier if you'll go ahead and delete your trash before the move takes place. Move documents that are larger than 17 megabytes to your file storage on your computer because they will not migrate. The email will move over, but the attachment to that email, if it's larger than 17 megabytes, will not migrate. If you need help with that, your local IT support help in your departments or the VCU Help It Center should be able to help you out. Executable files will not move, even if they're archived in the zips archives. They will not migrate. If you have any print stationery, those will not migrate. Encrypted email will not migrate. Personal correspondence that is sent from your @vcu.edu email should be changed to go to a personal email account if it's not work related. That's part of the computer ethics policy, and you can click on this link to take a look at that. For folders, it's important to understand that Google recommends a max of 200 for migration. So really you don't need to have more than 200 folders for the migration. And we know of some folks around the VC community that have many more, up to 500. It's really important to go ahead and kind of pare that down if at all possible. You also have characters that are not allowed in folders. So if you've used a caret character, for example, or exclamation point in the name of a folder, that's going to cause a problem. There's also the mail file cleanup article that Collaboration Services has set up. I'm going to go ahead and click on that now. And this will show you how to go through mail file cleanup step by step in Lotus Notes. As you can see, they've got images. This is really great. It makes it really easy to do. They've got the tips and tricks, so this is a good place to start when you go through, when you're getting ready to clean up your folders and email. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And we're back. When moving for the calendar, the main thing for the calendar is edit your repeating events. If you've got events that are created more than 24, that are repeating more than 24 months in advance, such as a birthday reminder, I have to say I had a few of those. I had to go in and fix those. You can go back later and move them back out once they're moved over. But for the move to Google from Lotus Notes, you want to move those so that they're no more than 24 months in advance. Any delegated calendar settings will not migrate. Lotus Notes reminders migrate over as a Google Calendar event. That took me a while to get used to because I use reminders in Lotus Notes, but you can set up another calendar that's nothing more than reminders, and it works really well. And if you see some of our training materials, they'll show you how to do that. So the main thing is, again, the executable files won't go, but the main thing is repeating events. You've got to get those down to 24 months or less, or they will not migrate. For contacts, the big thing here is you got to make sure that your contacts are in your mail file on the server. So we suggest loading up or going to the VCU Mail Anywhere site, log in and go to contacts and see if your contacts are there, the ones that you would expect to be there that are on your computer. If they're not, that means you have not synced your localized contacts that are in your Lotus Notes client to the server. And you need to do this because the migration process doesn't look at your computer, it looks at what's on the server. So the collaboration services folks have set up a step-by-step guide on how to do this, and it's called Synchronizing Your Personal Address Book. It's in the Ask It knowledge base off of the VCU Technology Services website, and it'll show you how to do it. It's not a difficult process, but that is something that will have to be done if you want your contacts to migrate. And then there's any other rules that you have for email. Those will not. You'll recreate them as filters in Gmail. Let me say that filters is great. It is so powerful. I like it better, and I used rules in Lotus Notes, but I found that the Gmail filters are more powerful. Any access and delegation settings you'll have to reset or recreate in Gmail in Calendar as well. Any email signatures, those are not going to come over. You can recreate those in Gmail. And so there's a few other items here that you may want to take a look at. Okay, so let's take a look at step 2 in the migration and transition process. Step 2 really lays out the process for the whole migration. So what will happen is step 1 is about 3 weeks out. You'll get an email that's telling you that all of your data that is dated prior to May 31st, 2011 will be archived into the Lotus Notes archive. This is data that's not going to be moved over to the appsforVCU system. Its data is still available to you because it is in the archive in Lotus Notes. You'll be able to go into Lotus Notes client, which you can keep on your computer, to access that data. You can also use VCU Mail Anywhere through a browser to access that data. And it will be available for at least a year after you move. At least a year. Could be longer, but at least a year. So that data will still be there. A procedure will be put in place. It has not been put in place yet, where faculty will be able to request to move all of their archive data over, and staff will have to create a business case for moving some of their data over, but they will be able to request this as well. The reason there's a business case is evidently there's some state regulations that might preclude some mail messages from being moved over into the new system. So this will happen about 3 weeks prior to your migration date. And you'll get a notice advising you that the archiving is complete and how to access the archive after that is done. Step 2 is on the Monday of your migration week, appsforVCU account creation is complete. So you'll get a notification that your appsforVCU account is active. You'll be able to go in, log in, take a look if you want to. Nothing is being sent to that account yet. We recommend that you don't try to send from that account yet. We don't recommend that you set up folders in that account. Setting up folders but prior to the migration could cause problems when they start bringing your folders in from Lotus Notes into the appsforVCU. So it's pretty much you can look but don't touch type of situation. On Wednesday, you will get an email message that will tell you that all of your new mail will start arriving into the appsforVCU account. And basically what's happening is mail comes into the university and it is directed, and right now it's directed to the Lotus Notes system. What will happen is after you get this email that it is going into appsforVCU, from that point on, all new email will be going into appsforVCU. So you'll be wanting to log in to look at new email. You'll at that point you'll be able to send email without any problems from that account. We still recommend, because the migration has not happened at this point, do not mess with folders. Just leave everything in the inbox for now. But you can start using the account by logging in with your VCU ID and password. Next step is the migration. You'll receive an email that's notifying that your migration for the data has started. All data migrates. It'll appear into your inbox. If you happen to be logged into appsforVCU, you may see messages come in your inbox and they'll just disappear. You may start seeing the folders, or labels as they're called in Gmail, appearing in the left-hand navigation. Again, just let that process take place. If new mail comes in, certainly read it and respond to it. But as your older mail is moving in, we suggest that you don't do anything to the system. We also suggest that if you've set up appsforVCU on your smartphone, Android or iOS, don't do anything. And it seems it takes the phones a little bit longer for the migration process to complete through them. You'll be able to start doing things on the desktop computer and even tablets really before on the phone. It just takes it a little bit longer. You'll then get an email that your migration is complete. And that basically means all your data has been migrated from the Lotus Notes system into appsforVCU. This is a good time to go in, take a look, make sure all the mail and the folders are where you would expect them to be. Prior to the migration, actually, it might be a good idea to print off your calendar for the next 12 to 24 months, and then you can compare that with the calendar as it's set up in appsforVCU. You could also do this by simply opening up Lotus Notes, either in VCU Mail Anywhere through a browser or the Lotus Notes client, bringing up your calendar, and then bringing up your calendar in appsforVCU, have them sit there side by side on the screen and compare. It's just good to do this to make sure everything is where you expect it to be. And that's pretty much the process as you move through. There's some more information on the bottom of the page here, but that is pretty much the process as you will move through for the migration. All right, let's go back to the front page for Gone Google. Okay, we're back on the front page of Gone Google. The rest of the steps are here. I'm not going to go into those with very much depth. As you can see, step 3 is we really think you should go ahead and download the Chrome browser and start getting used to it if you haven't. It's really fast. It's updated regularly. Not really daily, but it's pretty close to daily. So we really strongly recommend that you use the Chrome browser. And if you're used to having the Lotus Notes client, and you still want to use Firefox or Safari or Internet Explorer, that's fine. Think of Chrome then as your new email and calendar client and just use it for that. Perfectly fine to do it. But I really do strongly suggest that you give it 30 days, use it, and I don't think you'll move away from it. I think more likely you'll enjoy using it. Give it a shot. So that's step 3. Step 4 is attend the training. And this is the link I referred to up here on the right earlier. In the training, again, just kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. If you can go to live training, we have found that the folks that have gone to and taken the time to go through a training class, they're not long, but there's lots of good information there. And the people that have attended training have really had a much smoother migration than those that think, well, I have Gmail for personal accounts. It's different. Because you're using apps for education, you're going to start using calendar different. You'll start using Gmail differently than you would in a personal account. And with the other tools, really, it's going to make your life a lot easier to take the time to go through one of the classes. I just cannot strongly encourage you to do that. The next step is break your link to your personal Gmail. If for some reason you have connected your VCU account to a personal Gmail account, this will take you through the steps to disconnect. It just makes it much easier, and in some cases it could cause some issues with using various services within appsforVCU. So this will take you through that process. Setting up your mobile device, we have step-by-step instructions. The main thing I want to implore you to do is go through the steps as they've been laid out step by step, and you shouldn't have any problems. Android is made by Google. It's a very integrated process, procedures there, so you shouldn't have any problems with your Android phone. iPhone, you can use your mail client that comes with your iPhone, Gmail client. Google has just released an update to their Gmail client for iOS. I think it works great. I've stopped using another client I was using altogether because I kind of like to keep my personal mail and work mail apart if I can. So that's really nice. BlackBerry, we have the BlackBerry Enterprise Connector, which is new for the Google Apps for Education, for the Apps for VCU. So Google users that are on BlackBerry will be able to use their BlackBerry to access their account. Windows Phone, there's a connector that Google has put out called Google Sync that should help you with that process as well. So the main thing is just follow the steps that are in this, and you should be okay. If you use IMAP for, say, you like Thunderbird or Outlook, this will take you through the process for setting that up. Again, follow the steps and you should be fine. Don't try and wildcat here or think you know what's going on. Go ahead and follow through the steps and set up if you want to. But I really think you should try Google Chrome for 30 days. Give it a chance. I really think you'll like it, and it's very likely you won't go back. It's a great process for that. All right, so that's pretty much the whole site and getting ready for the move. After you've moved, we've set up a site. It's called appsforVCU. I'll click on that very quickly, and you'll see a lot of the same setup that we have for the Gone Google site. We still have the guide over here. We've actually replaced the training link that's on the Gone Google site with appsforVCU. So this is where you'll log in. Click on that, and you can log into your account from this page. And then there's lots of information about learning how to use it. You've migrated, and now how do I get the most out of appsforVCU? Going through these sections on this site will help you out. Lots of good content that Google puts out and regularly updates on their own services. I think you'll really find this very helpful. So there's a lot of good information here on the appsforVCU. Well, that's it for today. I hope you've got a better sense of how to get, I guess, ready for the move from Lotus Notes to appsforVCU. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the VCU Help It Center. Information on this site as well as the Gone Google site is down here on how to contact them. Also, Dr. G, which is kind of the replacement for Dr. Notes. The same people that are behind Dr. Notes will still be behind Dr. G, so nobody's leaving. We're just kind of going with the flow and renaming it from Notes to Dr. G, G for Google. And you also will find a list of gurus that have gone through training. Many people, IT support folks from various departments and schools, have gone through formalized training, and they're a great local resource for you. So you can click on that link and find a guru in your department or your school, and feel free to ask questions. They know they're on the list. They went through the training, and they're there to help. So thanks, and have a great day.